There is something about building tall. People have been doing it since the dawn of history. And for 4 of the last 4,500 years, the undisputed world champions of building tall were the ancient Egyptians. It all begins with one structure. It is the prototype for every Egyptian pyramid. But it's more than that. It is the oldest cut stone building anywhere on Earth. It is the oldest multi-story structure. It's called the Step Pyramid.
This is a very recognizable building type, and actually it's found all over the world: South America, Central America, Egypt, Asia, Southeast Asia. Now, it could be that they're all built by space aliens, but no, it's because it's a very obvious way of building big and building tall. And pretty much all societies, civilizations, once they reach a certain point, want to build tall. And this is the earliest surviving built expression of that desire.
Because it sits alone in the desert, it's hard to gauge just how big the Step Pyramid is. But if you picked it up and dropped it in a 21st century city, it'd take up most of a block. And it's as tall as a 20-story high-rise.
Just the scale of the building. Not just the entire building itself, but every piece of it. Every stone is large. There's no way that one man can pick up one of those stones. That it was teamwork. There must have been thousands of people working on this.
We know that this building evolved from what had been a traditional Egyptian tomb, a single-story building with the body buried beneath it. To gain height, the builders added smaller and smaller versions of the same design, one on top of another. And buried beneath the Step Pyramid, there are miles of tunnels. Egypt's chief archaeologist, Dr. Zahi Hawass, explains that they had a religious purpose.
It's about 3 miles of tunnels and corridors.
Wow.
That was the vision of the ancient Egyptian, how they imagined the afterlife. The netherworld, Osiris is sitting in the burial chamber waiting for the king to go through all these dark tunnels and corridors.
Well, what an achievement to dig 3 miles of tunnels. And this rock is really soft as well.
Yeah.
So quite dangerous. The idea that you build a pyramid by putting one layer of stone, putting a smaller one on top and a smaller one on top of that, it seems relatively simple. You know, we could teach a 4-year-old child to build a pyramid out of building blocks. Then ask that child to put a tunnel underneath that pyramid, and the complexity is huge. And I start to wonder, how did they explain that to the workforce?
After 20 minutes of walking and crawling through the cramped tunnels, they find themselves in the space directly beneath the center of the pyramid.
Oh, fantastic.
It's amazing.
This is just a huge chamber.
The ancient Egyptian restored
It's disorienting. The ceiling, way above them, is in fact only at ground level. It's the base of the pyramid. Above that is another 200 feet of rock.
What we've got here is a sort of iceberg of a building. That is to say that you can see a small amount of the Step Pyramid above ground, but below ground there's just this huge amount of construction that's taken place.
This, then, is the true genius of pyramid design. We may produce taller buildings. There may be buildings which cover more ground. But given their 4,000-year head start, it's hard to imagine mankind ever building anything else which lasts as long as the pyramids. And that calls for a little respect.